go, boys.
And a very warm welcome from myself, Francis Collins, to the North Greenwich Arena for this men's wheelchair basketball matchup between the United States and South Africa in Group A. For South Africa, well, this is really a must-win game because they've already had one defeat so far, beaten emphatically by a very decent Spanish side by 74 points to 50. The USA, for themselves, they started off with a win over the Italians, 77-51. And elsewhere in the results of this group, Turkey against Australia was a win, of course, for the Australians by 71 points to 74. With the USA, they have a proud record somewhere in the past in Paralympic basketball sport, winning 6 out of the 7 golds in the first 7 Paralympic Games dating from 1960 in Rome. But they've not won since Seoul in Korea in 1988. They did actually win 4 years later in Barcelona. That result was voided after a doping violation by one of the team. And their last best result was a bronze medal in Sydney in 2000. Well, South Africa, they've appeared at 2 of the past 3 editions of the Games. They came 12th in Sydney in 2000. They came back to the Paralympic Games 4 years ago in Beijing, recording victories against Sweden and China, and they ended up finishing 9th, qualifying for London 2012 after claiming victory at the 2011 IWBF African Championships that were held in Morocco. So plenty for both teams to play for in this match. That's the American coach Jim Glatch, who is just laying down his initial plans for his starting team. His opposite number for South Africa is Patrick Fick. The referee, Mauro Retitz of Mexico, and the tip-off underway with South Africa getting the ball and immediately going on the offensive through Luvio Mbande, who plays in East London in South Africa. Inside ball and a first basket for the South Africans. Samuel van Niekerk hails from Pretoria, the South African captain, to give them an early advantage. Immediate response from the Americans. Matt Scott getting on the scorecard. And a chance for some further points for the South African team. Richard Nautier, also from Pretoria, plays for the Blade Runners side. He's going to have a chance with a free throw after A foul by Matt Scott of the American team. One out of two. South Africa into the lead by 1 point. Imposing American figure of Joseph Chambers on the ball. Plays for the Golden State in Sacramento, California. Matt Scott with that attempt. Nortier finding Marius Papenfos, another player from the Blade Runners Club of Pretoria. Scott to clear his lines. An attempted basket and a successful one for Paul Schultz for America. Nortier once again on the ball for the South African side, attempting the long one. Eric Barber for the United States, feeding Jason Nelms. He's a lot bigger than the rest of the players. You've got to be concerned for the South African defenders when Joseph Chambers gets the ball. Tall, striking figure. Marius Papenfos looking for openings for his side. Back to Nortier from distance. 2 points. 5-4, South Africa leading the United States. Well, that's a terrific run. The pace of Matt Scott on the outside for the American side. Well, Scott's collision with Nortier not to the liking of the referee Mario Retitz of Mexico. These chairs taking one heck of a battering sometimes. They cost an awful lot of money. They don't last too long, I understand. Only a few months for the top players, and you can tell why when the likes of Matt Scott move at speed and have collisions like he just had with Nortier of South Africa. Encouragement from the crowd for the American player. 1 out of 2 for Scott. 5-all. 3 minutes into the first quarter. Time for the respective coaches to have a word with their team. Time as well for Scott to get some more running repairs on his battered chair. This is Jim Glatch of America.
Defensively, coming at you, you've got to give him space because he's quick. Okay, and defensively, don't forget to put pressure and work hard to stop chairs here. Then we match up, and I want to hear you shout to your teammates who your number is. Rich, the bigs have to pick up the bigs. I don't mind which one, okay? And the mids match up. That's what we're looking for. You have to, don't worry. Make a decision. One, two, three.
Quite a debate going on in the South African camp, likewise in the American team as well. Matt Scott, the American number 10 in the middle of your picture there, plays his basketball for Istanbul in Galatasaray in Turkey. South Africa on the attack. This is Pepenfus. Support on the far side. Justin Govender making movement, trying to find some space. Nortier comes inside. Pepenfus with his attempt picked up, and Scott on the breakaway for the American team. Cleaned up by Chambers nicely. Honours even so far in the first quarter. Tremendous speed on the break for the American side. Jason Nelms netting that one. Plays for the Dallas Wheelchair Mavericks in Texas. Eric Barber with that score for the American side. Scott it is who showed a good turn of pace so far in this game for the American team. Jason Nelms with that earlier score for America, but this is a man who has been quite influential so far. Eric Barber plays for the Waukesha Thunder in Waukesha in the United States of America. Well, concerning the South African ranks over the number of penalties they're giving away, Vuyo Umbande, the culprit on that occasion, drawing a personal foul. Two out of two for Scott. He's got 5 points to his name already today. Chance for South Africa to get back in contention. Sifamandia Gumbi with that score for South Africa to bring the scores closer for the South African side. 13-9 with 4 to go in the first quarter. Scott was on the outside, but Nelms didn't actually need him. Four points for Jason Nelms so far in this game. That one inside the paint. It's a 6-point advantage so far for the American team. Chambers away. Scott inside the paint waiting for a pass. That was Gumbi's score a few minutes ago to bring the South African total up to 9. Chance for the coaches to have a chat with their side and draw some diagrams and stress, as they generally do, about communication. Communication is everything, it seems, in this game, according to the coaches. Jim Glatch for America. Patrick Fick is the South African coach. A reminder, of course, you get coverage of the sports from the Paralympics at www.paralympic.org. You can also like the Paralympic Movement on Facebook at facebook.com/Paralympic Games. And for the latest updates on what's going on, follow us on Twitter, quite simply, at Paralympic. Delighted to have you with us at the North Greenwich Arena on the banks of the River Thames in London. If you haven't been here or you haven't seen the North Greenwich Arena, it used to be known as the Millennium Dome, an imposing and iconic part of the London landscape since its opening for the Millennium in 2000. Matt Scott racking up the points for his side, 7 for him on the scoreboard so far inside the first quarter. USA with an 8-point advantage. Lavuyo Mbande for the South African side. 1 out of 2. Chambers looking for assistance, finds it in the shape of Nelms, who goes from distance with some aplomb as well, to the concern of the South African coach. Jason Nelms plays for the Mavericks in Dallas. Norche not going to be happy with giving the ball away, especially to a player like Nelms, with South Africa 10 points down. America, of course, chasing a first gold medal at the Paralympic Games since Seoul in '88. Proud record early on in the history of the Paralympic Games, with golds at the Games in Rome in 1960 followed on in Tokyo and Tel Aviv, Heidelberg and Toronto by 1976. Jason Nelms, 8 points so far today. Having as much influence on this match as his teammate Matt Scott so far. And also Big Joseph Chambers, the number 5 in the middle. This is Eric Barber. Attempted a long throw by Nelms. Scott with the rebound, which he gathers and scores under some pressure. Someone in the wars, and so is that chair of his. On the attack for South Africa, Mbande. What a pass looking for Marcus Retief on the near side. Chance for the aforementioned Scott to get his chair back on terra firma and net that basket for the United States. Taking the score to 25 points to 10, an advantage of 15 going into the end of the first quarter. Papenfus for South Africa. Saw him in the early stages, been quiet for a while since then. Simafandia Gumbi looking for Marcus Retief, and it's going to be these missed passes and the failure to take the chances that is going to be of concern to Patrick Fick. Soon have a chance to reassess and talk to his players and try and iron out some of these defensive errors that are being capitalized upon by the likes of Scott and Jason Nelms. Scott taking a breather on the sidelines for a while. Ball Schultz for the United States to Nelms. Joshua Turek is on as well. You can see him inside the paint. Number 7. Marius Papenfus not happy with that decision, the South African. Another player from the Blade Runners Club in Pretoria. Of course, his compatriot Oscar Pistorius running later today on the track, one of the stars of these Paralympic Games, and his nickname, of course, has been for a long time the Blade Runner. Jason Nelms with 2 out of 2. Chambers on the breakaway for the United States, and that's the man who's just come on, who gets his first points on the board. Joshua Turek plays in Spain for Getafe, based in Madrid. Papenfus for South Africa. Closely marshaled by the likes of Schultz. Quite a dogfight in the paint there, but South Africa coming away with no results for their endeavours. Chambers intent on making them pay. Paul Schultz drawing the foul, but that's the sort of pressure that players can be put under as they're inside the paint. This is Chambers to Schultz. One out of 2 for Paul Schultz. So a 20-point advantage for the American team after the first period, the first quarter. So far, so good for the American side. So keen to emulate the fortunes of their women's side, who've been so successful at Paralympic level in recent years. No quarter given by the likes of Joseph Chambers there. And Levuyo Ombande, 30 points to 10. A chance for the coaches to reassess, to re-emphasize the advice they were giving them at the start. So we're underway in the second quarter, 20-point advantage to the American team against a South African side who so far have been struggling to contend with the likes of Nelms and Chambers seen here, and Matt Scott currently on the sidelines. And of course the other issue for the South African team in defence is the number of fouls that they are giving away against this American team, because when it comes to the free shots, America are looking very handy indeed. One out of two for Chambers, 70% success rate on the free shots for the American side. South Africa through Papenfus on the attack. Tremendous movement on both sides, in offence and also defence as well. And that's a welcome 2 points for Justin Govender. Chambers inside the paint. Govender playing his basketball for the Helios Wings in Durban on the southern African coast. Papenfus on the attack for South Africa. Might go it alone, or might just set it up for Van Niekerk. Ombande bringing the ball out for the South African side. Thinks about a shot himself. as does Govender, who scored just a few moments ago. And this is Ian Lynch on the field of play for the American team, setting up Nelms. Back to Lynch. And a straightforward basket for Joshua Turek. With the offensive rebound. 4 points to his name since he came on in the first quarter. Turek. Papenfos for South Africa. Nautier from some distance. And it's America turning defense into attack. At pace again. Paul Schultz with the points for the American side. And that score inside the paint gives them an emphatic 35-12 lead, as you can see in the second quarter. This is a South African team, of course, who've already suffered one defeat in this competition, losing to the hotly fancied Spanish side in their first match. Conversely, America, of course, winning their first game 77-51 against the Italian team. Kyle Lau coming on for South Africa. Another player based out of the capital, Pretoria, plays for the Rico Pumas, taking the place of Justin Governor. This is Nelms for the American team. Looking for one of the biggest players we've seen in this competition so far, Joseph Chambers of Sacramento in California. Under pressure, good pass from Lau, finding Papenfos. It's Van Niekerk taking a bit of a clattering inside the paint. Matt Scott back on the court for the American time side. Had a good first period before taking a rest. I'm not sure if it was him who needed a rest or his chair that seemed to take quite a battering. But Scott back and already looking to get his name back on the scoreboard. And I think that chance is coming again if his chair survives. Samuel Van Niekerk of South Africa, adjudged to be perhaps not playing fair. This is Jacobus Veluwen coming on. Another one from the Blade Runners Club of Pretoria. Scott with a chance to add to his total so far. One to come for Matt Scott. 1 out of 2 for the American number 10. He's got 12 points so far in this game against the South African side at the North Greenwich Arena. Of course, one of 2 venues being used for wheelchair basketball, the other one being the main basketball arena in the Olympic Park. Paul Short on the attack for the Americans, looking for an opening. Scott on the far side. Ian Lynch on this side, waiting for a pass, not needed. Scott delivering from distance. 3-pointer, 41-12. A game that is turning into a bit of a rout for this South African side. So they may as well go from distance. Scott under some pressure and at speed as well with a superb basket. That was his 3-pointer from a minute ago. quick timeout for the coaches to reassess.
Keep them out. Okay, we go to 2-1-2. Jakesy, you cover the middle for us. Okay, Marius and Jakes at the back. Okay, and hold your positions there. Sit, it's up to you and Carly, okay, to cover anything that happens with seals. And we stay inside 2-1-2. They've got to beat us from outside. We can't keep giving out baskets underneath. Very quickly on offense, Marius, wait and use the picks and cut. The one time you did it, we score. Do it once. Since I spoke, we've done it once. Okay? Real simple.
Give yourselves a big round of applause.
There's a man with 17 points to his name already, 6 out of 8 field goals, and look at that 75% percentage as well for Matt Scott of the United States, playing his basketball in Istanbul, playing for the Galatasaray club. Papenfus for South Africa, knowing they have a serious mountain to climb against this American side. Shot from distance and not the graces of luck for Sifamandia Gumbi. Paul short for America. Joshua Turek with a chance to add to his own tally. Two out of two for the man who plays his basketball in the Spanish capital, Madrid. Papenfus being hassled by Schultz all the way. Sifamandia Gumbi. Second one good for Matt Scott. Veteran, of course, of this American side, played in the previous two Paralympics. Gold medal team in the 2007 Pan American Games in Brazil. Formerly of Georgia College, now, as mentioned, playing his wheelchair basketball in Istanbul in Turkey. Short to Scott, back to Schultz. Turek looking for an opening and looking for a free teammate, who turns out to be Ian Lynch. Plays his basketball in Italy for the Santa Lucia club. Sifamanla Gumbi on the ball for South Africa. Tall, imposing figure of Jacobus Verloen for the South African side. Turek on his own all the way through. Stuart Yellows, big South African, number 13 in the way. This is Gumbi. Verloen, the 14, looking for the ball. Gumbi out to low on the far side. Justin Govender is going to be disappointed with that. Failure to gather that pass. South Africa needing every chance they could get at this stage. 48-12 down with 2 to go in the second quarter. This is William Waller for the United States, setting up Scott. Gumbi's going to come away and try and orchestrate matters for the team in green. Well, that's a terrific pass by Scott. He shows that he can not only score, but he can also deliver as well. Fabulous long pass to Paul Schultz from distance, who's got 7 points in this game so far. Jellos of South Africa to Gumbi. Scott 3 from distance. Boom, says the man. He's scoring most of the points for his side, but that was a terrific pass earlier on to Paul Schultz. Scott enjoying that three-pointer. Taking the American total to 53 points to 12. Chance to add some more as well. Jellos for South Africa, looking for some help. Verloen for the team in green. Gift Mukutsi. Here comes America at pace again. Scott to Schultz. Make it 55-12. Gift Muketsi on the field of play for South Africa. Feeding Verloen. Looking for Jellos from distance. And that'll give his team some heart. It's been a while since they're on the scoreboard. Another attempt of a three-pointer from distance as we come to the end of the second quarter with an emphatic lead for the American team by 55 points to 14. It's a job well done for the Americans and their coach, Jim Glatch, and this man in particular, Matt Scott, who's been pinging them in all day long. One of the reasons why he's a highly rated wheelchair basketball player who plies his trade professionally for Galatasaray in Turkey. We'll take a break and we'll come back for the second half shortly. We'll see you then. Stay with us.
Okay, well, good luck with this. Explain how the free throw relay is going to work. Two teams of two, so you can divide yourself up. They're going to start from here. They're going to head towards the free throw line with their basketball. Aim to shoot a hoop if they can. They then dribble all the way back, pass it to a teammate, and the process starts again. The one with the biggest score at the end will be crowned the winner. They have 60 seconds to do it. So, guys, if you'd like to assume your positions, in this side of the arena, you are supporting these guys. This is Team A, okay? So Team A, big cheers for 60 seconds when they're competing. And Team B on this side, okay? Lots and lots of loud support. Just 60 seconds to get as many baskets as they can. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go! Now, who's going to get the first score? Remember, they used to shoot the basket. We have 4 over here, and we have 3. Congratulations, guys. 4-3 victory. Let's all come into the centre. How was that outside the wheelchair? Yeah, it's good. Any pressure of playing in front of a crowd? I mean, what's the biggest you performed in front of before? 20 people. What was that like? You did fantastically well. And guys, just a word on what it was like performing out there.
Well, I'm not really used to doing it in a wheelchair, so the first couple of shots was like, way over it, but I'm going to get used to it after a while.
And you enjoyed it? Round of applause! Congratulations, guys. Wakefield Wildcats. Now, I did mention a little bit earlier that if you were involved in it, if you're interested in getting involved in a little bit of a singing competition, you can do via Twitter. I'm pleased to say that we've got a few people here who are keen to get on the microphones. First up, we're going to have Chrissy, who's going to sing One Direction. Are you looking forward to this? it's South Africa against the USA, 55-14 at the break. Enjoy third quarter.
So a big job in his hands for the South African coach Patrick Fick, who's got to raise his side because they are effectively being taken apart slowly by this impressive American team. 55-14 the halftime score. The Americans racking up a 20-point advantage in the first quarter by 30 points to 10. Second quarter score 25-4, giving us that 55-14 score so far. The Americans being led ably by the likes of Matt Scott and Eric Barber and Paul Schultz. Scott having a superb game so far himself.
Here we go in the second half. USA versus South Africa. 2012 Paralympic Games.
So South Africa with the first score of the third quarter. Richard Nautier, their man on the with the basket there to start things off as they hope to carry on. Gumby looking for Nautier from distance. All in all, a disappointing third quarter for the South African teams with only 4 points, 2 scores on the board for them. They're halfway to that total already, just 40 seconds inside the third quarter. Nautier again with another score for the South African side. Shouts of defense, defense from the sidelines. You hear it in a variety of languages, of course, in this event. Joshua Turek going close there. Nautier will come away. He's got Pepenfus on the ball now. Gumby, Pepenfus, near side number 5, Carl Lau. Gumby going from distance himself, but that's going to be collected by Nate Hines. He's going to bring in Jason Nelms for the American side. Turek netting again. Eight points so far to Joshua Turek, who plays his basketball for Getafe in Madrid in Spain. Sifamandla Gumby twisting, turning, looking for an opening. Well, Nautier, when he gets the openings, is very hard to close down, much in the way that Scott is for the United States. Eric Barber giving it to Turek, to Nelms. Inside him and in possession now, Nate Hines for the United States. And a man who's just come on has got his first points of this half. Jeremy Lade playing for the Milwaukee Bucks. Samuel van Niekerk losing that tussle with Nelms. This is Carl Lau for the South African side. Desperate scrambling for the ball there for Kobus Oesha for South Africa, but immediately America back on the attack. And netted by Nathan Hines, played by Joshua Tarek, who set him up nicely. 62-18. South Africa already having as many points in this quarter as they got in the entire second quarter. More energy, more movement from this South African side, if not achieving the baskets that they want to achieve. Certainly not at the rate of the American team coached by this man, Jim Glatch. His opposite number, Patrick Fick, has got a look of concern, and so he should when passes like that go straight to Nate Hines, who makes it look effectively easy. Some of us mere mortals can't even get a ball anywhere near a basket when we're jumping, so quite outstanding the accuracy from the likes of some of these players. Papenfos for South Africa. Attempted shot from distance from Kobus Oesha, another player of the Blade Runners club in Pretoria. Jeremy Lade on the ball for the American team came on in the first half. That's Joshua Tarek, another of the stars of this side. Jeremy Lade going inside himself. Sets it up for Turek. It's going to be stolen, and South Africa looking for the fast breakaway, but I think broken up by Nate Hines of the United States. Lade it is to Nelms, to Turek, back to Nelms on the outside. (64-18), certainly a slightly more combative South African side in this third quarter. A lot of energy coming from the players, a lot of energy from the watching crowd as well, at what is, as we mentioned before many times, a cracking venue in London for watching first-class sport, be it NBA basketball or the Olympic or the Paralympic events. NHL hockey. Tour events coming up in tennis to be played here. J-Lo, if she's your cup of tea musically, is going to be in concert at this arena as well in a month's time. Wonder if her crowd's going to make as much noise as the crowds we've had for the wheelchair basketball. As South Africa come away through Richard Nautier. Gumby with the attempt, but it's America at pace on the break. Turek superbly fed by Jeremy Lade. And it's an emphatic 46-point advantage to the American side. I'm no expert, but I think they might win this game. Fabulous play. That deserved a basket by Nelms. Superb. Nautier with 2 points. He's already got 11 points to his name so far today. The big man in the middle there, Richard Nautier, number 15 for the team in green. This is Eric Barber for the USA. Scoring with some finesse from distance. 4 points for Barber in this match. Nice two from outside the paint. For Penfos. Gumbi. It's been everywhere for this South African side today. Inside ball and delivered by Kobus Oeshka. Quick look at the scoreboard for the American coach. He's now reminding his team are emphatic in the way they're racking up the points against South Africa. 70-22. 2 minutes to go in the third quarter at the North Greenwich Arena. Time to make some changes. Ian Lynch coming back on. Matt Scott as well coming back on for the American team. 21 points already to Matt Scott's name, accounting for a third, nearly a third of his side's total. Sivamanla Gumbi. Kobus Oeshka. Ian Lynch to Jeremy Lade of America, back to Lynch. Gumbi will come away at speed for his side. Looks for an opening. He's got Lowe making move into the paint. That's going to go to the big man. Ball taken by another big man. Nautier being dispossessed by Nate Hines. Tricky maneuver at speed for Lade. Away comes South Africa. Far more motion, far more pace in this third quarter, I think, than certainly in the first quarter, when these two teams seem to be somewhat cagily sounding each other out. America, of course, less cagey than South Africa, racking up 30 points in that first quarter. Heading towards the close of the third. And again, another score for the Americans. Once again, it's that man, Joshua Turek. $12 points to his name so far, and that's the sort of impact that can occur in this fast-moving game on these chairs as well. We saw Matt Scott's chair getting quite a battering in the early part of this game. Tremendous movement, great delivery as well from the man who plays for the Getafe club at Madrid. Crowd counting down towards the end of the third quarter. Booming attempt by Richard Nautier to no avail. His side stay on 22 points. Concern for their coach. 72 have been racked up by Jim Glatch's American side in what's been a terrific game so far, but it's been America all the way at the North Greenwich Arena. Remind you, America looking for their second win. They beat Italy in their first game. South Africa heading for their second straight defeat.
Pass it from the top and screen to the man you pass to. And that man uses the second pick and you work with the big, Kali. That's all. Okay. Guys, on defense, it's a 2-1-2 defense. Okay? We're going to change it now. Now it's going to be a 1-2-2. Okay, so up at the top will be Kylie. Okay, the next two will be you two guys, Seeps, you and Richie at the back on the 2-1-2. 1-2-2.
This will be plenty of people in, looking at the screen, banging on those buttons as hard as you can.
Guard that, guard that.
He's well in the spirit of it. That's what we want to see.
It's been all America so far. Some terrific play from the likes of Barber, who's been on the field of play for 17 minutes. He's weighed in with 4, but then again, Tarek, 21 minutes on the field of play, 12 points. Scott has racked up 21 points, and Nelms as well. Jason Nelms for America has weighed in with 13 points, and the stats, of course, show the pressure that America is putting South Africa under as we head into the final quarter. 72-22 in this Group A game of the men's wheelchair basketball. Terrific entertainment for the crowd. Quite a game as well for Richard Nautier, maybe on a losing side, but he's chipping in with his own 11 points so far. Jeremy Lade looking for some assistance. They can't stop this man, Joshua Tarek. Taking his tally to 14 for the day. Kobus Ushka playing in Gift Muketsi. Muketsi thinks about the long one and can judge himself unlucky. This is low, back to Nautier. Gifty looking for his teammate Gumbi. Gumbi with the attempt to no avail. Quite a clattering in the box there, bit of a sandwich maneuver on Nautier. Jeremy Lade and Joshua Tarek providing the pincer movement. Nautier with the attempt from distance. America will go long again. Ominous signs for South Africa when this man gets the ball. Beautiful. Jeremy Lade setting up Nate Hines for that score. Sifa Manla Gumbi. Gift Muketsi on the far side, the number 11, back to Gumbi. Inside ball and Kobus Ushka with that attempt. Another player for the Blade Runners Club, Kurbis in Pretoria. Moketsi, well, he plays for the Mongoose Club of Mafeking. There's a name to conjure with. Will there be the relief of Mafeking for Gift Moketsi? Turek it is again, just outside the paint. Nate Hines going down on the far side. Now one of these chairs needs some attention at the end of the game. Chairs and bodies as well. Moketsi and Gumbi. This is Oshka. Moketsi. Back to Gumbi from distance. Gumbi looking for the rebound. Norje mapping up on the near side. Kyle Lowe just inside him, number 5. Back to Moketsi, to Gumbi. Good interception for the American team by Jeremy Lade. Big number 15 for America is Nate Hines of the Milwaukee Bucks. That's the big number 8, Trevon Jennifer for America, who plays for Bay City. Irie in Bay City. That's a man who's been busy at both ends of the park. Scoring and committing fouls. Joshua Turek, though, keeps racking up the points. 15 so far for the player based in Turkey. Turek it is again who makes the score. Taking his total of 19 of the 81 scored by his American team so far. Dominant over a South African side that never stops coming forward and never stops trying, but it's the difference of players like Joshua Turek and also Matt Scott, who've been scoring some fabulous baskets. And the other Americans as well, taking their chances when they occur, and that's been the big difference. Eric Barber coming back on. Joseph Chambers, big guy on the left-hand side, seen here, number 5. From Golden State and Sacramento. Yaloan is on for South Africa, Jacobus Yaloan. Gifta Moketsi taking a well-earned break, and Kyle Lowe's been busy in the fouling area as well, it seems. Here comes Barber. Low in stature, high on talent and ball skills. Nate Hines looking for Chambers, surely one of the biggest guys in this tournament to be playing basketball. Jeremy Lade. Mopped up by Jacobus Verloen. Samuel van Niekerk. Verloen going close. Lade comes away with the ball for the American side. Inside ball, easily done. Chambers making his mark as he returns. He's played 13 minutes so far, has Chambers for America, and he scored 7 points out of the 83 America have racked up. Yellow in again. And it's a good score for Stuart Jellows. Plays his basketball for the Discovery Eagles side in Johannesburg. Chance to put some extra points on the board as well. Clean as a whistle for Stuart Jellows. Five points in this game for the big player from Johannesburg. Ian Lynch is on for the American team. This is Barber. Chambers inside him. Jellows mopping up again, looking for support. Comes from Van Niekerk. Below and close with that attempt, but Lade has got a good turn of pace when he sets his mind to it. Chambers again from inside the paint, under tremendous pressure. Terrific set of points being racked up by this American side. Looking for a first Paralympic gold medal since Seoul back in '88. Of course, they did win in Barcelona 4 years ago, but that was stripped from them because of a doping violation. Netherlands were awarded the gold medal belatedly in that event. But ever since it started, the Americans have been, as you'd expect for a basketball-playing country, ranked very highly, and certainly from the early days at Stoke Mandeville in the 1950s, and then in 1960 in Rome, it's been America all the way. They had a winning run until 1976, only interrupted by an inspired Israeli performance in Tel Aviv in 1976, where they were the Americans were pipped to the silver medal by the Israelis. So they have a lot to prove, and of course their women's basketball team is immensely successful, having won 2 games already in this event. They're the defending champions in the women's basketball event. So the likes of Jeremy Lade looking to keep up with the women's team. Preeminent in their sport so far. This is Van Niekerk for South Africa. Stuart Jellows from distance, just outside the paint. Nate Hines from America going long, fabulous play. That deserved a basket for Lade. Here comes Jellows for South Africa. Inside ball to Van Niekerk. Back to Jellows. Air of resignation from Nate Hines, who did his all. And this is Lade, who was so close a moment ago, but delivered on that superb basket. Back in play with Jellows. Swift passing from the South African side. Stuart Jellows again. Jellos with 9 points in this game so far. Heading towards a close. Just over a minute left on the clock, and a terrific total so far for the American side of 87 points to the South African 29. Nate Hines it is with the free shots. Plays for Milwaukee back home. 1 out of 2. Good day for Nate Hines. 7 points so far. 50% record on his free throws.
Listen up. Okay, guys. That's Olympic spirit. Okay, and everybody needs to know that. That's what it's about. Okay, not about always winning, but being somebody who wants to really compete and play. Okay, and both squads did that now. Okay, when you do as you instructed, you can make it happen. Okay, be proud of yourself. Okay, South Africa is proud of you today. That was very important. Okay, because people have to respect you. Okay, so good work. Give yourselves a hand. Good work. No hard now, okay? And no turnovers. Let's go. Go on 3. 1, 2, 3. Together.
Well, inspiring words from the South African coach Patrick Fick, telling them that, as you heard, that the country is proud of them and that it's not all about the winning. America may disagree. Famously, Vince Lombardi, coach to the Green Bay Packers, used to say it was all about the winning and nothing else. And on this occasion, America emphatically winning despite the best efforts of the likes of Jellos and Van Niekerk for South Africa. 88-29. They've already accounted for Italy. It'll be their second victory. This is Eric Barber. Chambers mopping up, but that was laid with the basket, needed no help there. Laid without an unerring ability to find the basket no matter what position or what direction he's going in. Just what his team needed. That's the man who did the work earlier, Matt Scott, for his team, one of the leading players in the world, plays in Turkey. 21 points in the 15 minutes that he's been playing for this side. Nate Hines, chance to take America past 90 points, which he does successfully. Chambers going down like a sack of potatoes inside the paint.
Hey, listen up to Coach Shaki.
Big checks, you are going to be there. Checks, going to be there. Small checks on this position, Stewie. You are here, Lucky. You go there. Okay. You come out, you receive the ball. Okay. You pass ball the back to Stewie. Okay. Then big checks, you
Well, you've got to mark the commitment from these South African players. They may be 62 points behind, but the likes of Gayeboge Moepang, their assistant coach, along with Patrick Fick, telling them exactly what they have to do for the last 20 seconds or so of this game against an outstanding American side led by this man, Matt Scott, who've racked up 91 points so far. Jello's doing his best to hold the onslaught with his 9 points, Carlo as well. But it's been a cracking American performance. Greatly enjoyed by this crowd at the North Greenwich Arena, who are in for the long haul because there's more basketball coming up later. Job well done for America, for Jim Glatch, for Matt Scott, rest of the team. Eric Barber, Joseph Chambers, Jeremy Lade, Joshua Turek, Trevon Jennifer, William Waller, Jason Nelms, Ian Lynch, Paul Schultz, Nate Hines, and the coach Jim Glatch. Delighted with their 91 points to 29 win against a battling South African side, orchestrated by the likes of Sifamanla Gumbi, who had a good game, and Gift Moketsi, Stuart Jello's later on, influential. Richard Nautier was everywhere, as was Samuel van Niekerk in the earlier phases. To no avail, second defeat on the bounce for the South African side. Second win on the bounce for Jim Glatch's American side. Story of this game started in the first quarter when America went 20 points clear, 30-10 the score after the first period. They put on another 25 points with only 4 in reply in the second. 17-8 the score to America in the third, and South Africa, where they scored 7 points in the fourth quarter up against the American score of 19. 91 points in total to the American side, 21 from Batman Scott. And the stats tell their own story as to this American dominance at the North Greenwich Arena. Coming later, Japan against Germany in Group B. In the women's event, it's France against Germany. France losing their opening game, of course, to the United States of America. Australia's women playing Canada's women later today. Fair bit of noise later on, I expect, when the Great Britain men's team come out to play against Colombia. And then the final 2 games today in the men's event, Australia against the hotly fancied Spain, who were impressive in their first match. Australia defending champions. And Canada, semi-finalists 4 years ago, will be playing Poland in the final game. But there's basketball all the way through until September the 7th. Don't forget, you can watch us at paralympic.org throughout the whole of the London 2012 Paralympics. You can go to us on our Facebook page. It is facebook.com/Paralympic Games, one word. And if you like to tweet, why not go to Twitter at Paralympic is where we're located on Twitter, where you'll get all the latest updates and news as it happens at the 2012 Paralympic Games at terrific venues like this one, the North Greenwich Arena, which has seen some great sport over the last few weeks and some terrific sport today. Sporting contest as well, which is always great to see between America and South Africa on the field of play. 91-29, South Africa, somewhat outclassed. The crowd loved it. The players performed, and we saw some terrific action, notably from the American side, who are racking up the points early on. 30 points to 10 the score in the first quarter. Joseph Chambers for the United States, Matt Scott, players who it could be said were almost at times unplayable. Scott giving the basket a pounding, giving his chair a pounding as well. The man was everywhere, from close quarters and also from distance.